The once heroic spirit has vanished with the wind, and his wife has finally emerged from the shadows into a new life. Yet Hachiko still waits faithfully, and while 10 years could throw even the closest couples off track, he remains steadfast, much to the emotional chagrin of the coffee seller. Perhaps only she knows how Hachiko endured these years. Now he recognizes his mistress, yet she keeps watching the door, fearing to miss her master. This film lingers in your heart after watching, with 1.4M viewers rating it 9.4 so far. Even if you know every plot detail, you'll still tear up rewatching Hachi, A Dog's Tale, a masterpiece revered by countless fans. Hachiko's first meeting with his owner took place at the train station, perhaps fate's whimsical joke, when she happened to run straight to the feet of music professor Parker, who gently scooped her up. Everyone thought someone must have lost their beloved dog, but after a long wait with no owner in sight, Parker had to locate the station manager to see if the pup could wait there. The manager would only care for her one night. If unclaimed by morning, she'd be sent away. Parker worried greatly, unwilling to let her become homeless. He reluctantly brought her home. Although his wife had no desire for pets anymore, Parker placed her in the basement, and the long-separated couple embraced. They wanted sweet solitude, but the unromantic little one soon squeezed through a door crack, following a familiar scent to the bedroom. She unsparingly licked Parker's wife's foot, and contrary to expectations, she wasn't bothered by the pup's antics. Years ago she owned a golden cat. The dog's death left her deeply grieved, so she vowed with her husband never to keep a dog again. Parker thought her consideration was truly heartwarming. He hastily explained the little one's arrival, promised to send her away the next morning. His wife reluctantly agreed to a one-night stay, and Parker lined the box with a thick blanket. He randomly placed his daughter's doll beside her, fearing she'd be scared alone, and left the light on. The pup watched Parker return through the door crack. She knew this was her new home. Next morning, her daughter hugged the puppy, unwilling to part, wanting its company. Seeing this, Parker thought there was hope for keeping the dog, only to realize that his wife had already prepared missing dog flyers. Reluctantly, he took the pup to the shelter. However, staff said they only offered foster care. If unclaimed, in 2 weeks, the dog would be sent to vacation. Parker couldn't bear to leave her. Left with no choice, he took her to a library. Although his friend Blackie loved the dog, her cat wasn't having it, and gave Hachiko a swift smack. After a fruitless afternoon, Parker posted flyers at the train station, then got coffee and casually asked the vendor about adopting a dog. The old man said, "Why keep a dog? They then walking, buying food or selling coffees easier." He saw no chance to give the puppy away that morning. Parker just had to smuggle her in his briefcase to work, gently feeding her milk from a cup. Whenever she barked and drew attention, he'd drown out barks with his voice. At school, the puppy slipped out, bit open the backpack clasp and ran out to the rhythm. Pup danced on stage. After class, Parker learned from a Japanese friend it was a purebred Akita, with Hachi on its collar. In Japan, it means luck, so Parker named her Hachiko. When asking co-workers to adopt her, they laughed and refused. They joked that Hachiko had already made her choice. Did you find her, or did she find you? Upon returning home, Parker tried to show his wife Hachiko's merit, saying only generals could own such dogs in ancient times. But his wife wasn't buying it at all, reprimanding Parker for breaking their deal. Then suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the study. Mischievous Hachiko had managed to wreck one of his wife's models, leading her to angrily kick Parker out of the house. That night, Hachiko was confined to the shed, where the chilling wind howled. Through the slits, he noticed his owner was in a heated discussion with his wife. Realizing he was in trouble, Parker returned to his room late at night and picked up Hachiko, fearing the pup would be scared in the shed. After arguing with his wife, he watched baseball with Hachiko, sharing popcorn, a warm, happy scene. When his wife came down for Parker, he was asleep on the couch. Hachiko licked his hand beside him, but she just glanced and ignored. Suddenly, Parker awoke with a start, hugging Hachiko tightly and apologizing. Noticing her husband's cautious manner, she realized she might have overdone it. Next day, Parker tried to train Hachiko to fetch, but no matter how hard he tried, Hachiko would not cooperate, running off and not retrieving. Hachiko seemed utterly uninterested in the skill, even when Parker went so far as to demonstrate. The pup sat aside, complete. Just then, the wife indoors got a call. Someone saw the flyer and wished to adopt Hachiko. She happily noted the number, then saw Parker and their daughter playing with Hachiko. That moment touched a deep chord within her. It had been a long time since she had seen such warmth, so she decided to give her family a chance. Thus, Hachiko seamlessly became a beloved family member. Years sped by, and Hachiko grew into a furry giant, but he continued to pursue Parker every morning as he headed to work. Reluctantly watching Parker leave from the paragraph Yuki changed to den, he dug a hole under the fence one day and escaped. Parker spotted Hachiko on the platform as he boarded the train. Parker was shocked Hachiko followed. He got off, urging it home, but Hachiko refused, forcing him to miss the train. Upon arriving home, Parker plugged the hole under the fence and had his wife confine Hachiko. Realizing he couldn't follow his master, Hachiko lay bored in the yard. However, as sunset neared, Hachiko suddenly heard the sound of an arriving train, and he seemed to awaken to something magical. He leaped over the fence like a pro, making his way to the station with aching familiarity, quickly finding the best spot to sit and wait for his cherish. As Parker exited the station, Hachiko rushed into his arms excitedly. Parker petted him fondly, amazed and overjoyed. No one can resist a dog's hug. Parker thought Hachiko waited all day, but the coffee man said he'd just arrived 2 minutes ago, leaving Parker amazed. Puzzled, the next day Hachiko tagged along again when Parker went to work. Parker let him in before closing the door, only to catch sight of Hachiko, so seconds later he relented, and from that day on, Parker had an unexpected companion on his way to work, loyally escorting him to every afternoon at 5. When Parker's train arrived, Hachiko would sit quietly in the flower bed, waiting patiently. The moment he saw Parker walk through the gate, I'd rush into his arms, the depth of Hachiko's love banishing all of Parker's fatigue in an instant. From then on, fetching Parker from work was Hachiko's top priority. Regardless of weather or season, he always arrived at the station before 5.